What's up everybody, hope all is well. In theory, crossplay is fantastic. In practice though, it's anything but. Implementation in Overwatch is so curious, the cynic in me suspects it was purposely sabotaged to avoid all the drama surrounding the feature. And while Overwatch has had its share of hits, crossplay is arguably its biggest miss, but the solution is so obvious and so simple, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say everyone would agree it's a good compromise. So let's talk about it. As the industry moves towards a multi-plat, multi-store, play anywhere future, crossplay will be central to making that work, but the concept doesn't exist in a vacuum. Enter aim assist for controllers. Keyboard and mouse is just inherently better in ways that matter for shooters. Yes, some controller players are equally as good, but it's rare, and players that do so without any form of aim assist at all are exceedingly rare. Let's put that argument to bed and move forward towards a reasonable solution for everyone. Overwatch approached this problem a few ways. First, Blizzard kept competitive mode platform specific. Second, they didn't give console players aim assist when in PC queue. And third, PC players can't join console queues while console players can only when partied with a PC player. In their eyes, this was the best compromise and it achieved a few things. Most importantly, for both platforms, it saved competitive integrity where it matters most, on the ladder. More specifically, for PC, players just don't have to deal with aim assist, period. It's not in the game. While from the console side, they get to hold the keys and decide if and when to compete against PC players. But in reaching for these goals, the crossplay Blizz delivered actively disincentivizes people from playing it. Console players aren't likely to join PC lobbies if they don't have aim assist, and a PC player is less likely to invite them knowing they have said handicap. So rather than deal with the polarizing subject of how much aim assist is too much, they offered up a version where it's a non-issue. Noble in a way to honor the integrity of the game, crafty even for how they managed it, but ultimately it does feel like crossplay in Overwatch is meant to be nothing more than a marketing term. And there are further devils in the details, so to speak. PC players can't opt out. Blizz knows almost universally we will, but as a PC player, it still feels crummy to quite literally have a lesser experience forced onto you. On console, crossplay is turned on by default. Turning it off results in game-breaking queue times, and finally, none of this accounts for Zim-like devices on console, which complicate matters even more. In searching for a solution, the best place to start is identifying exactly what each platform wants out of crossplay. I'll take liberty for PC players. The only thing that matters is no aim assist in our games. I'll take liberty again for console players and say the only thing that matters is you don't lose aim assist, right? So both would say everything else is on the table and both would say all they want is a fair match. So while diametrically opposed, we're more similar than you think. So in the spirit of Overwatch and a better future for everyone, I've got 3 things Blizz can do to save crossplay. Do these and you can keep everything else the same. The 3 things Blizz can do to save crossplay are enable keyboard and mouse on console, enable input-specific queues, and enable cross-progression. So let's roll through these, and in the end, you'll see how they coalesce to form a fair path forward for everyone. Enabling keyboard and mouse on console is the obvious low-hanging fruit. Many players want it and all the consoles support it, so it appears Blizz is what's holding things up. It's strange because they've historically been a PC-first company, so you'd think they'd jump at the chance to get console players using keyboard and mouse, but no luck. Anecdotally, I haven't touched console Overwatch in a solid 3 years now despite having friends on Xbox. I'd join them at heartbeat if I could use mouse and keyboard. Instead, we decide, do we cross-play and their experience is bad, or I play console and my experience is bad, or just not play together at all. Crummy options. And it'll create a whole swath of legitimized talent. Console players get a lot of flack for perceived skill differences. It'll only take 1 or 2 breakout stars to change the landscape, and not long after we'll all be hearing about the Fusion's latest sign who plays on Xbox. Crazy, right? But it'll happen if they get mouse and keyboard proper. Zim devices are a major problem on consoles, and I think this would remove a large chunk of them almost overnight. A lot of players do it purely because they prefer keyboard and mouse but just don't have a PC, and while Zims are good when aim assist is removed, a real keyboard and mouse are better. The only ones left would be the cheaters, those who enjoy the advantage. Thankfully in 2018, Mike Ibarra tweeted there is an API to detect that. Now that he's president of Blizzard, it would be great if he made that happen. Just saying. The only reason I can think why they haven't enabled it is they're afraid of splitting the player base. Around the time it was launched in summer last year, the population was dwindling. If they feared it would make a problematically small population impossibly small, well, then their hand was forced. Regardless, enabling keyboard and mouse on console will be a boon for crossplay and alleviate population concerns if they implement my second suggestion, input-specific queues. So this is simple. Keep competitive queue as is, PC and PC queue, console and console queue, but for quick play, instead of doing that whole PC can't queue into console thing, just remove all that and make it input specific. If you're on console using a mouse and keyboard, you're in the PC and console mouse and keyboard queue, and vice versa with controller. Both input device types get to play exclusively with that input device. No aim assist bias to ruin the experience for anyone. And it could be delineated further, which I would suggest, and offer queues by input device and platform. It's probably not necessary, but it would offer those who simply refuse to play with another platform the opportunity to do so. And the last thing they can do to help crossplay would be enable cross progression. It would be nice, I dare say expected, especially since it'll be under Microsoft soon and that's sort of their thing. I agree it's not necessary to save crossplay, but it would certainly help. Simply put, it provides another reason for people to consider playing on other platforms. Maybe it's to play with friends, or maybe it's just convenient. I'm a hardcore PC gamer, but sometimes I just want a couch. You know, I'll sit down and play Forza Vista, but if I could play some Overwatch and move the skin I got over to my PC account, I'd honestly do so from time to time. Beyond that, the game's been around so long, a ton of people have played on both platforms. It would be nice of Blizzard to let them merge rewards. So, final thoughts. Did Blizzard implement it this way on purpose? Was it to avoid the gray aim assist debate? You'll have to make up your own mind. Personally, the most telling sign to me is that they specifically locked down competitive queues to just one platform. A sign they understood the legitimacy of that environment is paramount and they weren't willing to risk it. But what I suggested makes crossplay function within the spirit of what's intended. Fair matches regardless of platform or input device, the ability to join friends freely and without consequence, and the ability to do so on the platform of your choice without the worry of lost rewards. What do you think? I mean, something sort of needs to be done. When you think about all the polarizing topics in Overwatch, crossplay is the only one that's universally disliked. And I'll close with this. The most important message here is one I haven't touched on. Adding functionality like this empowers the player. It's all their choice, and that in turn gains you loyalty and dedication. It's like not having a game mode selector. Why, Blizzard? Why must you frustrate me with these missing quality of life features? Sheesh. Alright, and with that, I'm done. Appreciate you taking the time. Take care of one another, and I will see you soon.